Welcome back to Collectibles.com Unscripted. I'm Blaine. I'm here with Ryan, and today we have with us Kanik. He's not only the co-owner of Major Bendies, an awesome toy company, but he is also a huge collector himself with a collection that spans comic books and action figures from everything from WWE figures to Star Wars. So, Kanik, how's it going?
Just living the dream of being an adult child.
We call them kid dolls now.
Is that what we're calling them? I feel like you ever seen that episode of the Rugrats when they have adult bodies but still baby heads? That's my life every day. Yeah.
I will give you credit. You are less terrifying than that was. So,
So Kanik, how did you start collecting?
I've been a collector my whole life. I had two older brothers who were always into comic books and trading cards, and the big thing at the time was Pogs in the 90s. Um, and I just kind of like inherited all that from them, and they grew out of it. I didn't. Um, you know, I've always collected stuff, even when I was like in high school and I tried to be cool in front of girls. I would be like, oh, let's go to Toys R Us and just like ironically look at the stuff. Meanwhile, I'm like hiding things so I can go back later and buy it.
That's one way to do it, man.
This is a cool WWE figure. I should put it aside. Um, and when I started to make some like real money on my own from working, I kind of just dove into it even more. I worked at a marketing agency out of college. It was a Fortune 500 marketing agency, one of the largest marketing agencies, and I had one of the biggest pharmaceutical companies as my client. I was making really good money, um, and I got tired of what I was doing, and I quickly just went on LinkedIn and typed in collectibles and applied for the first job there, and then it started a career in collectibles. Um, so I'm just zoned in to the hobby as much as possible. I mean, I literally sleep, drink, eat toys, collectibles. I don't even call them toys anymore. They're collectibles.
Toys are definitely collectibles for us kidults.
Yes.
I mean, you said the why do you start collecting? Like you talked about a little bit of what you collect. Is there like a special line of toys or like figures that you collect from these different franchises?
Yeah. So, if you see behind me, I have a almost complete collection of WWF Hasbro's mint on card, and I would say 98% of them are all signed. So that's one big thing. I also have a complete collection of the 90s Power Rangers Automorphin. Those are the flip heads. And I have all those signed as well as the movie editions. I have the Megazords and the Dragon Zords mint in box with the Command Center mint on box, and as well as the 8-inch figures from that series, all mint in box and loose. I actually have everything mint on card and loose.
Did you start like grabbing those as you went on, or like did you have those and you're just like, hey, like I'm gonna keep these?
The Power Rangers ones are my childhood favorites, right? That's what I grew up with. To the point I actually have a tattoo of the Green Ranger action figure on my arm. So I was always picking those up and grabbing them when I saw them. Um, Now I'm fortunate that I work with a bunch of wrestlers who are on the road, two of which are the hosts of the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. They're also my business partners in Major Bendies. So I get to travel with them quite often now, and we go fig hunting. We go to all these stores, and every time I see something cool that fits into my collection, I always just pick it up. Just because, you know, most of the time you can find it at a good price at a local shop than if you find it on eBay or something.
I mean, how can you not? That hunting is the big like, that's the fun part. Like at least, thinking as a content creator perspective too. That's the fun part of finding things. You know, you go to different stores, you have no idea what you're gonna find, especially if you go to a place in a different state or a place that's like 40 minutes away from you that you don't normally go to. You know, it's like I went to Walmart this one time, and they had I kind of collect Hot Wheels a little bit now, and just because my son collects them, so I'm collecting them now as a dad. It's one of those things where it's like, damn, this store has like 30 of these where my store only has like maybe one of them. It's just like I hit the mother load, you know? So I feel that. That's part of the hunt. So when you talk about that, you're on the road. It's like, we're going to every Target, Walmart, you know, on the way, man. Why not?
It's fun too because I get to travel with these professional wrestlers who also are collectors, right? So, we got to go to Target to get a toothbrush or something, whatever, or water. Normally, when you're with someone else who's not in the mindset, they go straight in for what they want, right? Like they're going in for water. No questions asked. When we walk in, we're going straight to the toy section. Like, and then we look around for like 10, 15 minutes, and then we go, why did we come here?
I love it. That's so true though, because it's like a known rule like for my household too. It's like my son, who's 2.5 years old, goes and knows what stores we're going to, by the logos, the colors, like the configuration of the store already. He knows the very first thing we're doing is going to that Hot Wheels section, you know? So it's great, you know, as adults, but as like a little child too. Like it's so similar.
Yeah, that's cool that you can do that with your son. I think that brings a little bit more of a different experience than what you're normally used to. Now you're sharing it with your son, and that must be a cool feeling.
So how many figures would you say are in your collection?
I've never counted, but I can tell you it's in the thousands. I mean, I have just 50 Hot Toys alone. I own a figure company myself, Major Bendies, and someone told me I've produced 196 figures of um, 196 figures in the last 3 years since I started it, and I own three of each. Um, so
Wow. And are they all like mint and everything, and you have them like set to go just in case, you know?
I keep one mint in box, toted up. I keep one that I get signed by the talent, and I hang that up. And then I have a collection of loose ones that I just have for display purposes. But then, I have like 50 Hot Toys. I have, all those Power Rangers that I spoke about before. I have a collection of Star Wars Black Series figures that are signed by the actors. I have a lot of figures. It's insane. I'm pretty sure one day everything is gonna just fall and kill me.
I mean, that's the best way to go out though. Why not, right?
I mean, if I could have a baby Groot hit me over the head and I just drop dead, I'm fine. I got killed by an Avenger, Guardian of the Galaxy, dude.
I don't know. I would argue that if you're going to get taken out by any toys, the wrestling ones kind of make sense, right? It's kind of what they're meant to do.
Yeah, and you know, I make these that are called big rubber guys that are based off of the 80s WWF figures. So I continued the line as if the line still existed. There was never a uh, British Bulldog in this gear. There was never a Macho King. So now I'm making those and getting the license for everything. And these things are about 2 pounds each. And I had a case of them fell on my head just last week. And it hurt like hell. And I'm like, this is how I'm gonna go. This is how I'm gonna die.
Did you get that checked out? Were you good? You're just like, oh, you just brushed it off and kept on working, huh? No, nonstop.
Yeah, that's all I did. Just brushed it off. I didn't have time to sit and do like the Peter Griffin going, ah. Uh, just the show still continues.
I saw that you had the SDCC exclusive this year, man. Like, how did that feel to like see, on the secondary market and to see how fast it's sold? Like, what was that feeling like for you?
Um, Bittersweet, a little scary, but it was cool. I say scary because our website actually crashed. It was a cool feeling to see it crash. I'm like, oh wow, I've created that brand that people get upset about that because they can't check out. But I also know that feeling, and how much stress it brings to people and anger. So I wanted to fix that as fast as possible. And basically, all I had to do was just turn off the site and turn it back on. Um, as simple as that. But I had to do it three more times because it kept on crashing because we had too many people trying to check out all at once. But we sold out in 10 minutes online, over 1,500 figures. So
Congratulations.
yeah, thank you. It was cool. And then I saw the prices on eBay and I was like, shit, maybe I should have held some on the side for myself because I got bills to pay too.
Collectors' collections pay the bills sometimes. They really do, man, and that's part of collecting. Yeah, no, that's fantastic, dude. I saw it and I was so happy for you, man. Like, so your limited runs, is that what you gonna keep doing? Is that your bread and butter, like that's what's keeping it going?
No, so we do a pre-order model where, for example, the month of August we have Jeff Hardy, um, the Brawler, and Harley Race, and Joe Hendry for sale. Um, so for the month, you can place an order for as many as you want of these figures, and whatever is ordered is what gets made. So I take those orders in, I send it to the factory, and within 3 to 6 months, get the inventory, ship it out to the customers. Um, so a production run is as big as what the orders are. I've noticed that there's some issues with that because if you just discovered Major Bendies, and you want a figure, there's nothing that you can get instantly. So I've created what I call the evergreen top hits. So I have a Macho Man, in pink trunks for sale right now. That's going to be considered an evergreen. We've almost sold out of the inventory, so now I'm going to just reorder from the factory, and that's just going to always be in stock. And we're doing the same thing with a Ric Flair figure, and he'll come with the big gold belt. I'm mixing it up so you can have some of those, you know, I'd call it like the Luke Skywalker in the collection, right? Everyone had a Luke's, and then have like a little Boba Fett's where it's like the little harder to get figure, and those will be the pre-orders because we've noticed that a lot of the pre-orders go up for a good amount on eBay, um, later on because once it's gone, it's gone. You can't order it again. So, and then we're growing so fast that there's always new collectors coming into the game, and they want to be completists and stuff, so they want to get the previous series.
What does the process look like for you to take your hobby and then transition it into this, company that's now beloved by, hundreds of people, hundreds of fans? Like, just what does that look like? What does the process kind of look like?
I left my job at a marketing agency. I joined a company called Eagle Moss that doesn't exist anymore. Um,
I know Eagle Moss for their Star Trek stuff, so
Okay, so I worked at Eagle Moss for a while, and I was hired to be the CRM manager and brand manager for the WWE collection because they found out that I was a fan of wrestling. I ended up becoming friends with these two professional wrestlers, Matt Cardona and Brian Myers. During the pandemic, they got let go by the WWE, and I reached out to them and I said, if you need any help marketing, your podcast, the Major Wrestling Figure podcast, or yourselves, because when you get let go by the WWE, you end up doing a lot of independent shows and stuff. So the big thing is to sell merchandise. I had experience making merchandise at a previous job where I did like umbrellas and foam figures and stuff for like Yankee Stadium, Chase Bank, stuff like that. So I offered all that stuff, and we start making some merchandise, hats and T-shirts, foam fingers, foam belts, and everything that we were making together was selling out super fast. And I had this idea of making our own versions of wrestling buddies, which were very popular in the 90s. Was basically stuffed like a Hulk Hogan that you could beat up and stuff like that. I had the idea of doing one for Matt and Brian because I figured it'd be easy to make because it's just fabric and you're sewing up the sides and shoving cotton in it, right? I later on found out it's not that easy, but I pitched it to the guys and they said, if you can get it done, we'll fund everything. And I had a prototype in hand for them within like a week and a half, 2 weeks. There was some adjustments, but they fully funded everything that needed to be done financially to get this done because it is costly. And we got 500 units in hand, put them up for sale on a website, and we sold out in probably less than an hour.
Yeah, that's something. You had something there, you know?
Yeah, that's when it sparked in my head. We have something here, and I had just bought a bunch of WF Bendums from a wrestling tourist shop in Queens, and I said, you know what? And I was like, this is really cool. This is really cool, but you can't really get them signed. You can't really display them properly. You can't really form a collection because it takes up a lot of real estate. Um, and I was like, these Bendies things are cool. And I can make them really collectible, and you can really build a collection out of it. And if I fix the packaging, because the packaging on the old ones went convention friendly, I would say, on getting them signed. If I change the packaging around, you can really build something from this. And I pitched it to the guys, and basically they said the same thing. If you can get it done, we'll support you, and we can, you know, be 50-50 partners, or actually one third, one third, one third, because there's three of us. Um, and I got a prototype done within 2 weeks again, and Matt and Brian basically were fully on board and supporting me and getting everything done. And you know, that was 3 years ago. Now we've made almost 200 figures together. Business is booming and growing. And I worked at Eagle Moss at the time, and I actually pitched the products to the people at Eagle Moss and Zavi, and they both told me I had nothing, that it wasn't a good idea. Eagle Moss shut down, and Zavi's on the way out, so I'm booming. I got something.
It's always one of those things, man. You hear about that, and you hear these, failure, 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 failure. What's gonna happen next? Oh yeah, no, 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 no. And for you, like, that's such a great story. Like, I remember when I was with you, on this team, and we were talking about this, and it was just like, dude, like, you definitely have an idea here, like, and you were trying to do this stuff and everything, and I told you, I said, as we're going out, I said, you're gonna do this, like, it's gonna hit, like, I'm gonna love it and see the success for you, man. So that's so great to see and hear and everything.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
So it sounds like you've gotten a bunch of people licensed so far and a bunch of people to give you the okay to use their likeness and all that. Who are your top five that you'd want to get that you don't have yet from any era of wrestling? Presumably as long as they're still alive. But who would be your dream characters to get or dream people to get to make some figures out of?
Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin, The Rock. That's like the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Then it would probably be Bret Hart and Iron Sheik. Iron Sheik passed away probably like 2 years ago, but so they all those people have a WWE Legends deal, so it's tough to. And actually, The Rock is basically the WWE now. He's on the board of TKO that now owns WWE. But I think eventually I could probably get everyone else on board. It's just getting that timing right. The good thing about my business partners, they were in the WWE for almost 20 years. They signed when they were like 18. Everyone knows who they are. So everyone now knows about this company that we've built. And a lot of the wrestlers just come to us now, saying, "Hey, my contract is up. Can I sign with you?"
Oh, that's a great feeling, man. That's fantastic. You're the next best thing. It's not like, oh, hey, oh, we're going here. Oh, well, I don't know what we're gonna do next. It's like, no, we're hitting these guys up next. That's fantastic.
Yeah, so there's like Matt Hardy and Jeff Hardy, they exited their contracts with AEW. Next day they called me. Well, they called Matt and Brian and let them know that you know they're not they're free to do figures and stuff, and right away we signed them. Ethan Page, who's a huge toy collector himself, he left AEW and he li- called me. He said, "Hey, I left. Don't tell anyone. Let's sign a contract right now. Let's get some figures made. Let's push it fast." And we did, and then you know I think 3 weeks later he was on NXT, uh, winning the title. So he didn't know at the time that he was going to join WWE, but luckily we signed a contract and got a figure made of him before the WWE snatched him. The WWE is just taking my leftovers.
That's a great feeling, you know. I'm sure to be like that, you know, be like, ha ha, I got you first, you know.
I hear that's a lot of how it is just now. When you have somebody who leaves one of their contracts, it's like everybody's trying to get at him for something, and luckily you're able to get kind of that nice window where you got him as a total free agent.
Yeah, and it's cool. You know, like I said before, everyone knows once that window is open, come to me because I'm paying a higher royalty rate than what most of these people are getting from Mattel. I've had wrestlers like Sergeant Slaughter and Hacksaw Jim Duggan tell me that my royalty check was bigger than anything else they received. So that's also a really cool feeling because um, you know not everyone's making Hulk Hogan money. So there are some of these older guys. They don't have a pension, they don't have a 401k. This is their retirement, going to conventions and signing. Um, and when I could provide them some form of payment, it means the world to them because they didn't have to throw themselves on the floor. They didn't have to stay behind a table signing for hours. Um, they just had to let me borrow their face. And then they're going to make more money because they're going to sign a bunch of those at a convention.
Yeah, man. No, that's so cool, you know, and you know, you go on these trips and you have a great time, you know, and it's all because you started, you know, collecting. Can you believe that? You know, you became a collector, and this is what comes out of it. And that's the greatest thing I think about collecting and what we talk about here at Collectibles is that passion for collecting. And you obviously have it. You've been doing it for so long and everything. And that passion has grown into something even more that you're passionate about, you're having fun with, and you're making money. You know, that's fantastic. Like what could you ask for more? Maybe a little bit more sleep. That might be the only thing you might ask for a little bit more of.
I'll sleep when I'm dead. I enjoy too much of what I'm doing to sleep. And even on my free time, I'm just like reorganizing my toy room. I'm just like, this is what I enjoy. So why sleep?
Yeah. As collectors, when are we not reorganizing our toy rooms or offices or whatever though? Am I right?
It's the adult form of sitting crisscross applesauce and playing with your action figures.
Aside from putting them on the wall behind you, how else do you display them? I know you mentioned you have some out of box. Do you have like shelves? Do you have display cases?
Yeah, I have shelves on all sides of my toy room. That's currently a disaster because I've stuff laid on the floor and you know, I'm redoing everything, but I redo stuff as I have time. So it's like, all right, I'm not in a meeting trying to get a license. I'm not packing orders because I pack all my orders myself, which is insane. So like, there's days I get like 13 pallets from China going into my garage, and then I have to unpack everything, then put each figure into a box and put the shipping label and mail it out to customers. Um, Hopefully, though, within the next 2 weeks, all that comes to an end because I just got a new warehouse and I have people doing that for me, so I can focus on more day-to-day stuff like obtaining licenses and organizing my toy room. Finally, where it'll be good for like a month. Yeah, I'm excited to reorganize my toy room. It'll be good for like a month, and then I'm like, I gotta redo it. and then the process starts all over again.
Now, what is that timeline like, from talking to the licensors or the people and then getting that figure in hand? What is that timeline like for you?
It varies based on who it is and how fast I want. There's some people that, okay, we signed today, we need to figure out fast because I know X, Y, and Z is going to happen. Um, but for the most part, it's from signing to having the product into customers' hands. It could be somewhere between 3 to 5 months. There's been instances where, Ric Flair came to me and said, I have my last match. I need the figure in hand within 3 months. Can you have it done? And I got it done in 2.5 months because I just expedited everything. I told my factory, stop everything you're doing. This is main priority right now. And there's another case where there was a wrestler called Nails in the WWF. He hadn't had an action figure, and I think in over 30 years. He's just started to do conventions again. A promoter called High Spots came to us and said, "We have the rights to do his action figures. We want to use you. Do you think you can have it in hand within a month?" And that's when I was like, I give these little white lies saying, "Yeah, I can do it," when I'm not sure if I could. But I'm not gonna let this opportunity pass by. 2D designer drawing the sketch, I had my sculptor doing work at the same time, and eventually they overlapped properly. I had the prototype made, and I had all that done within 4 days, I think. And then I approved the prototype with my factory. Then they make the steel mold, approve that. Steel mold usually takes about 15 to 30 days to get created. I don't know how the factory did some sort of shortcut to get it done fast. From then they did a pre-production figure. I approved that, and then I paid for air shipping. So instead of having it shipped on a boat from China, they FedEx it. So I had everything done um, in hand within a month. That way he was able to sign them at a convention at SummerSlam.
Wow, that's crazy cool though. That's so cool. So I brought with me today a little figure that Mike may know about.
Yes. That's when you know you have an ego, when you make yourself as an action figure. But it's sold out.
How many figures do you have?
I have two currently. I have a third one coming out at the end of the year, and I have a buddy pillow that will be in hand within probably by the end of the month. That I'm going to be selling on my Whatnot as an exclusive.
I can't wait to cuddle my buddy Kanik, right?
I mean, if you love me, you can cuddle with me. If you hate me, you can beat the shit out of me.
Well, here's the real question: if you're reffing a match, are you calling it down the line? Or are you gonna go get involved a little bit and help somebody out?
I actually was in a pay-per-view match that the guys put together. I didn't get involved. I got beat up. Because I got beat up, I did a fast count at the end and helped someone win, but I didn't get involved. I don't trust myself with that. I'm also 5'3" with zero muscle mass. I can't go against these guys.
And you never know. Rey Mysterio is a tiny guy, and he's been doing this for a few decades. So,
Yeah, but he's also in great shape. I'm filled with chicken nuggets and pizza.
touche.
Is there any exclusive news that you can give Collectibles Unscripted that nobody else has heard?
We just did a panel at Comic-Con and we announced a lot of stuff. I don't know what I can share. Yeah, I don't think I have anything cool. I can show you guys a prototype of a new figure that we've been working on. So we actually announced this at Comic-Con. This is our new product line called Major Stars. It's going to be a 4-inch articulated figure. So the head will move. This is a prototype, so it's a little loose right now, but the arms move, legs and torso will move, and we're gonna design this in a cube box. So it's easy for collectors to take it to conventions and get it signed. Obviously, Macho Man isn't alive anymore for him to sign it, but we'll have Danhausen, Matt Cardona, Brian Myers, all part of Series 1, and I'm working close with some big names for Series 2 already, like Sergeant Slaughter. We haven't announced that. There's a little clip for you. You can expect Sergeant Slaughter in Series 2 of Major Stars.
So getting back to your toys and your collectibles, what are the like holy grail items that you still want to get for yourself that you either haven't got, haven't found? Like what are the must-have items that you would love to have if you could find them wherever they are?
You know what? Actually, I said I have a complete collection of the Power Rangers Automorph signed, but I don't have the Yellow Ranger signed, um, because she passed away at a pretty young age. Uh, so that's one thing that's my holy grail. I I know someone who has one, or actually may have more than one, that they got signed when they were a kid. Um, I've been trying to uh, buy it off them, but they don't want to sell it. So that I think that might be my holy grail, just so I could complete the set. I don't know. I feel like holy grails change every every year, right, for people. And everyone's holy grail is different. Like, and it doesn't have to be a big price point too. It could be just, a regular $35 figure that you find at Walmart or something. But for me right now, I'd say that's my number one. Comic book wise, my holy grail is Amazing Spider-Man issue number one. Star Wars wise, I have I would like a Harrison Ford signed Black Series action figure. I have pretty much everyone but Harrison Ford, and he doesn't do many signings. And if he does, there's usually strict limits on what he signs, and it's also very pricey.
All right, guys, so that is pretty much all we have today. Obviously, Kanik, thank you so much for being with us and talking about wrestling and all your hobbies and your passion literally turned into a business now that is celebrated by hundreds, thousands of other fans all around the globe. So, guys, go make sure that you check out Major Bendies, check out all their product lines, obviously all the new figures coming up, which everybody wants to get their hands on, which is awesome. And while you're checking that out, make sure you go ahead, like our podcast, subscribe to the channel, and check out the Collectibles.com app to track your collection, see item descriptions, and get appraisals on all of your items. So that being said, my name is Blaine.
I'm Ryan.
And we will see you guys in the next podcast. So have a great day. See you around. Bye-bye.